Going over, you're suspecting a lat labral tear on your final. Okay, you're gonna have a patient case. If you're expecting a slap tear, okay, or impingement, better go through these slides and know how to treat it. Okay, and these exercises, know how to perform them and demonstrate them to the patient. So Dr. Kreismeyer is going to show these exercises real quick.
Okay, so we went over a lot last week, and we've covered now all the material for shoulders, so we'll just spend a few minutes reviewing what we went over last week. Does that sound good? Yeah. There was a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So this is under the scope of, this is passive care for the shoulder. Okay. So passive care, I'm going to do ice. I'm going to do my passive modalities, E-stem or ultrasound. My soft tissue is going to be under passive care. And now these are stretches I'm going to give the patient. Okay. Either in office or at home. Okay. So the first is the sideline stretch at 90 degrees. Okay, so remember, I get the patient. He's going to see how Peter's shoulder is right now, not underneath him. I'm going to prop up onto his shoulder. Do you see the difference there? Okay. Now he's going to gently with this hand bring his arm in internal rotation. Okay. Should feel a stretch back here, not a pinch in the front. Okay. If he feels a pinch in the front, I'm going to drop it down not so high. So it's not going to be a 90 degrees, it's going to be more like a 45 degree. Does that make a difference?
Yeah. It wasn't really tensioning out that.
Okay. Thanks for being hypothetical.
Everybody, what is that pinch?
Impingement, right? Okay. So you should feel a stretch in the posterior capsule here, okay? The sleeper stretch is just, I'm going to have him do that same stretch, but now he's going to roll his torso over. So it's just an emphasis on more of a stretch, okay? Everybody okay with that?
Nope.
Okay. The cross arm stretch for posterior capsule is old school, right? This is high school PE. Okay. Yep. Okay. So that's the cross arm stretch for the posterior capsule. All right. The doorway internal rotation stretch is going to be find a doorway, and we're not doing extra rotation, but we're going to do internal rotation. Okay. Can't say I give this to a lot of patients, but it's there. Okay. I would rather do the sideline posterior capsule stretch. I think that's the most effective. Okay. So, again, I'm sorry I put active down. This is still passive because these are not exercises, okay? These are mobilizations, so they're technically passive. So, stretching the posterior capsule stuff I can do for him, okay? I can do the J move. Go ahead and land your back. Okay, so everybody remembers the J move from CP2? I'm going to get a contact here, pull out, go down, and just give a little bit of a grade 4 mobilization, okay, to stretch the posterior capsule. Okay? The mulligan mobilization, sit up. Okay, so again, this can be either done seated or standing, internal or external rotation, and we're going to go through a pain-free range of motion. So first, relax. This is just like the posterior hip capsule mobilization. Okay? Assess is internal rotation, or I could do it as external rotation, but I'll just do internal rotation. Okay? So now I'm going to get my contact going through, so I have an anterior and a posterior contact. Okay? So I'm going to induce internal rotation first with my hand. Now I'm going to have him go through a pain-free range of motion in flexion first, so we'll flex. Sit up straight. There you go. Okay? So I'm doing, this is active assisted. Okay? So I'm helping a little bit with my elbow. Okay? I can do just flexion. I might readjust my contact to keep more internal rotation. I can go into abduction. Okay? This should not be painful. If I wanted to, I could go into some circumduction. Maybe readjust my contact, keep more internal rotation. Okay? And then reassess. Okay? Go different? Yeah. Yeah.
With that one, are we focusing on more retraction and capsule?
Yeah, I can. You want to have him in good posture, so if Peter was slouched forward, that's really not going to do me any good. I want to try to get him in a good scapular position too, okay? And then even on some of these, when I go up into flexion with my opposite hand, I can keep the internal rotation. I can keep with my palm, I can do some scapular mobilization too. A little bit more advanced. But, okay? Any questions with mulligans? Okay. So, rotator cuff strengthening. Okay? First one is the sideline L-fly. So lie on your side. This is the simplest one. It's one I give my patients all the time. Okay? Simply going to take a weight in this hand, elbow at the side. He's going to go from internal rotation to external rotation. Okay? If I see him do a lot of like wrist stuff like this, I say I don't care about your wrist, I only care about your shoulder. Okay? In here, out there. I don't want to see the elbow come off here. Okay? Some people say to put a towel in between here and hold the towel. I don't necessarily think that's wrong, but now all of a sudden I'm engaging adductors also, which I don't necessarily think is something I want to do. Okay? Because what's the big adductor of the shoulder? The pec. Okay? So I don't necessarily like that. I don't instruct my patients to do that. So, not to say it's wrong, just thinking it through, I think it's unnecessary. Okay? So you can do standing or seated L-flies. Sit up for me. So that would be if he's in the gym at a preacher curl bench and just having the arm on a bench right here and he's doing this. Okay? Or I could be standing and doing this. This is a little bit more advanced though, obviously, right? Okay? Cable external rotation, we talked about that. This is in the gym, cables here. I'm just doing simple external rotation. Same thing with a TheraBand, put a TheraBand on a doorway or something, on a door handle, and I'm doing this. Okay? Internal rotation, same thing, lie on your side. I would simply have the patient do it on their downside. Start here and bring internal. Okay? Debatable whether you actually want them to increase the strength of the internal rotators, since they're probably strong anyways. But it's there.
Doesn't matter if they're like on their shoulder, if their shoulders are a little loud.
I usually try to keep their elbows as close to their body as they can, but still allow them to get the full range. Okay? Abduction, the sideline abduction of 45 is one of the ones I give every patient. Okay, so this would, my number one exercise is sideline L-fly. My number two exercise I give them is sideline abduction to 45. So it's going to be straight arm here. Okay, good scapular position, abduct to 45, and go down. Okay, just like that. Good. Okay, sorry, go back. Cable abduction to 45, same thing. Cable would be here or down at the ground. Simply go into here. Again, re-emphasize scapular position. Okay, this does me no good here. It's arguable that this actually causes more impingement. Okay? And again, what I said at the bottom there, avoid internal rotation. So I don't want to see this. Okay? Everything should be here. Okay? Posterior deltoid. So rear delt fly, standing or seated. So that's going to be either in this standing position here, okay, or it's going to be in a seated position, just sitting at the end, bent over, and doing the same thing, okay. And then now line your side. So the sideline flies. This is the number 3 exercise I give to my shoulder patients, okay. So number 1 is this, sideline L fly. Number 2, sideline abduction of 45. Number 3, sideline horizontal extension, okay, or sideline fly. So it's going to be, again, scapular position back. He would have a pillow here supporting his head. It's going to be a straight arm. Start from right in front of his chest, up into a T position. Nice and slow and controlled. This is very difficult. I start my patients with 0 weight on this, okay? Good. So middle, for middle delt, any sideline delt flies with dumbbell or cable, so that's just coming straight. Okay, with the thumb in a neutral position. I don't want to do this. It's a bad idea. Why? Okay. And it's arguable that if I go full external rotation, that you're actually recruiting more of the anterior deltoid. Okay? So I just go neutral. Alright? And then anterior front delt flies with external rotation, so that would be up here. Okay? And kind of like what I just said, it's arguable that if someone's in the gym and they're doing military press and they're doing front press and they're doing these, you're hitting your anterior delts so many times that I don't know if you actually want to do isolated work like this too. But, food for thought. Theraband, you can read that again. Okay, let's go to strengthening the middle and lower traps. So you got your T's, your Y's, and your M's. You can do this on a ball like I demonstrated last week. You can do it prone or on a bench. So let's have Peter go face down.